All right, colleges. I think we're finally good. I think we worked the kinks out. Let's get the intro go, and we'll start it again. Yo, what's up, everybody? How are we feeling today? Happy Wednesday. The players, the coaches, the team came back to practice today. So that means the week is pretty much underway. It's on Chiefs week, and it's time to get started. The players are back to work, and now the preparation started. So obviously with that, there's some injury updates. So we'll get into that. What's up, Throwback? What's up, Nia? What's up, Fios God? What's up, man? What is up, everybody? Showboat, what's up? How's everybody feeling today? Wednesday afternoon. I hope everybody's having a good one. So let's get into the injury report as we should. That's the first thing we could talk about today. Nick Bosa practice limited. He's got the groin injury. Trent Williams came back for the first time since he had the high ankle sprain. He was limited today. Jimmie Ward, he did not practice today. Mike McGlinchey, he's got the calf strain. He did not practice today. Arik Armstead with the foot injuries. He did not practice, and he's already been ruled out from Kyle Shanahan earlier in the week. Jimmie Ward practiced with the cast on his hand. He had the club hand, and he might play. Kyle Shanahan says he might play this weekend. They're going to wait to get clearance from the doctors. And Jimmie Ward, you could tell he's like, yeah, I want to play. What's up, Debbie? What's up, media? Jimmie Ward got that dog in him. Yeah, he does, man. He's savage. Like, I usually don't like having players come back and play with, through injuries. It is risky, but a lot of people talk trash about Jimmie Ward. There's one thing he's not. He's not soft. In the old days, you rub some dirt on it. Ronnie Lott amputated the finger. He went out and played, whatever it is. People played through shit, and Jimmie Ward's going to play through stuff. He said he doesn't have a choice. He's going to go out there and play. I mean, it's not the safest thing, but you could tell Jimmie Ward wants revenge. He talks a lot of trash, and he wants to back it up. Like, Jimmy's been itching to play, and he said, he's going to give it a go. He's going to see what happens. Jimmie Ward might play. Boys, he's a menace. Jimmie Ward, I got respect for him. I always have. Again, he might get hurt again. But, hey, I mean, it's a hard – you saw that club. It was like the Patrick Willis club. You remember when Patrick Willis, Takeo Spikes, they wore the clubs on their hands when they had their injuries? It was no thing, man. I think Jimmie Ward can come in and be effective, So, shout out to Jimmie Ward, man. The other update, too, was Jason Verrett, cornerback. They wanted to see how he's going to go this week, so he was a full go at practice. That's kind of good news. With the Niners banged up in the secondary without Jimmie Ward, Jason Verrett, they're giving him a shot this week. They're going to see how the knee feels. Last week, he was having some soreness in the knee, so we have to monitor it. I know it's pretty good news, and right now that was a good update that Jason Verrett is back, at practice, but now we have to see how is he going to hold up through the whole week. So let's hold our horses and see what happens Friday. If Jason Verrett is still sore on Friday, he may not be able to play on the weekend. So it is nice. It is tough, though, for Jason because he's battled these injuries his whole career, man. VZ says he can. Jimmie Ward can punch the balls out with the cat. That peanut punch is going to be deadly. Jason Verrett, yeah, S. Flood, full participant. Showboat says, did they ever see the play when Jimmie Ward got hurt? I haven't seen it, but they said it was on the opening kickoff. He was on special teams on the kickoff, and he said that he hurt his hand. He didn't want to believe it. And the next play, he knew it was broken. So it was basically on the start of the game, that Rams game. He came in, opening kickoff, and he broke the hand. I have to go back and watch that. I didn't catch it. I didn't really see Jimmie Ward on there. So Niners all damn day says, how the hell is Jimmie Ward cleared to play? Boy's a menace. He's a warrior, true warrior. So that's how it is. Also, Talanoa Hufanga, I know a lot of people are asking me. He did not practice today because he's still in the concussion protocol. The concussion protocol, it lasts a couple days. You got to get through it. You have to practice before you even get to the chance to play. He hasn't even got to the practice point, or he's not even limited. So Hufanga's still in the concussion protocol. We'll keep a close eye on Hufanga, but he did not practice today. So we'll see I hope he's okay, man. You know, that's tough. He played through a concussion, man. That's rough. Concerns on a running quarterback are real. Showbo says, yeah, it's going to be tough. Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. He's great. Kyle talked about him, and he says, you know, he's just a phenomenal player. He does so many things that you have to, you know, account for, and we all know that. We've seen it with our own eyes. Patrick Mahomes is a hell of a player. The more defenders you have out there, Nick Bosa, you know, Charvarius Ward, Jimmie Ward, all these guys, the more players you have, Hufanga, the better, because you have to get in his face. You have to make him uncomfortable. You have to have him turn the ball over. He's a tough player. He's a tough player to match up against. Jimmie Ward is hopefully going to be able to play, but how effective can he be with a broken hand, you know, and Patrick Mahomes is a beast, man. You can't, you know, no denying it. Travis Kelce is phenomenal, great route runner. The guy, they know how to, you know, stay in sync. They got that chemistry. It's beautiful. Kyle Shanahan has his hands full, and he's going to have his hands full in front of some legendary 49ers players. We talked about this yesterday. It's going to be the 10-year reunion of the 2012 Super Bowl team. I know they lost, but it's alumni weekend also. So that's kind of why they did it. Alumni weekend, Bryant Young, Hall of Fame ceremony, all this stuff's going to be there. It's going to be a pretty big weekend out in San Francisco or in Levi Stadium in Santa Clara for the San Francisco 49ers. It's going to be a big game. You know, it's Kansas City, revenge mode, right? We all want revenge from that Super Bowl. And now we have, like, legends in the building. It's going to be tough to go out there and not perform, you know, at a high level. You know, fans are going to be hyped. Teams should be hyped. They're going to be wearing their throwback jersey. They're going to pull out all the stops to be really hyped and be geeked up for this game. Throwback jersey, legends out there. You're going to have Jim Harbaugh, former 49ers coach. You're going to have Aldon Smith. You're going to have Justin Smith, maybe Crabtree, Navarro. You're going to have Patrick Will. You're going to have some legends out there, man. Crazy. Alex Smith. You're going to have the 90 or the 2012 team out there. That team was so cool, man. God, it's been a debate all day on Twitter between Harbaugh and Kyle. Maybe we'll entertain that. And then the 2012 versus the 2019 team. Like, there's a lot of parallels. Both coaches got the team to, you know, the Super Bowl, but just couldn't finish it off. But both teams were different in different ways. But both teams were very similar in similar ways. Both had great defenses. They both ran the ball. You know, a dynamic tight end. It's crazy, man. Those two teams were phenomenal. 2019 team was a magical season, but those 2012 years, those Harbaugh years were unbelievable. VZ says the throwbacks bring out the dog in everyone. You're right. Those throwbacks, man, they bring out the vibe. They hype the players up. They know they look good, so they play good. They feel good. Now, before we get about Kyle Shanahan and Harbaugh, we'll talk about that. This is the real goal. This is the real goal, baby. The real goal. Oh, got my man. This is the throwback sweater. I gotta love it. You got the legends. BY. You got Steve Young. You got Joe Montana. You got Ronnie Lott. Roger Craig is in there. Jerry Rice. Some dope players. You got the Walsh in there. And the West Coast legends. This is what it's all about. These are the real legends. But, you know, we love these newer teams. 2012, 2019. Real quick, I'm going to ask you guys. Who do you think would win? Straight up, they put them both teams in their prime. You know, they're not the 2012 players now, older age. Prime 2012 team, prime 2019 team. You let them go at it. Boom, battle it out. Who wins? Straight up, heads up. What do you guys think? I'll let you guys debate it. You tell me in the comments while we start talking. Showboat says Kansas City might be in Jimmy G's head. Injury and Super Bowl loss. They're probably in everybody's head. The Niners are pissed. They're probably so frustrated. Like Kyle talked about it today. They literally, the reporter asked them, well, what do you think about the Kansas City game? Does it get you motivated? Do you get what kind of question was like, of course he's pissed off. Like Kyle was irritated with the question. I was irritated. It was like, of course the game pisses you off. He's like, he's not going to watch it, like, just to have fun and watch it. Nobody watches that Super Bowl just to watch it. You lost the game. He had to watch it for schematics and watching the film and seeing things like that. Like, that's what he said. He goes, I had to watch it this week to study the team. Because you think I sit here and watch the game on my free time? Like, oh, let's go throw the 2019 Super Bowl where we fucking lost. No, dude. Sometimes these reporters, I don't get it. Why are you asking dumb questions? I would have been pissed. Like, Kyle was literally pissed in this interview today, and I don't blame him. Usually I'm like, come on, Kyle, get the stick out of here. But today I was like, yo, Kyle, you have every right to be so pissed off at these reporters today. It was disgusting. Fios guy says, maybe if Kyle scouted quarterbacks in the 2017 draft and didn't hope to get Kirk Cousins in the offseason, that was a rough draft. Solomon Thomas, Reuben Foster. They waited till the third round to get a quarterback. No, C.J. Beathard. No slight to C.J. Beathard. But you could have had Mahomes or Watson. I know he was holding out all hope for Kirk Cousins, man. Kind of crazy how they set the franchise when they took over. I mean, obviously, they did fix things. They didn't bring in talent. They took over a depleted roster. We got to give them credit. But it could have been better. You're absolutely right, Files. It could have been absolutely better. 2017, they come in and your franchise player that you're going to build this team around, and no disrespect to him, is Solomon Thomas. Come on, man. You don't build your team around a defensive tackle when you have no quarterback, when you really have no talent, and you build your team around a red flag linebacker, Reuben Foster, and a defensive tackle, Solomon Thomas, who's not an edge rusher, and you used him like an edge rusher. But I digress. Let's get to some of these comments, man. Let's get to some of these comments because I know these are going to be great. S. Flood says 2012, no question. 2019 says Rocio. Marcos Cortez says 2012. My man Zayo says, I wasn't watching football in 2012. Were the 49ers a more physical team back then? They were so physical. You had Navarro Bowman, Frank Gore, one of the most physical running backs. You had a pound it down your throat head mentality. Jim Harbaugh. If you guys watch Michigan football, I love Michigan football. That's Jim Harbaugh. He pounds the ball. They're physical. Run down your throat. They're going to hit you in the mouth. You had a great offensive lineman, Boone, Anthony Davis, Joe Staley, legend. You have Booby D, man. And then on that defense, Bowman, Willis. Are you kidding me? Dante Hittner and Deshaun Golson, those guys were hitters. I mean, they're going to hit you with the hit stick. That defense was so physical. Shanahan's a physical coach, too. You can't take anything away from him. But those 2012 teams, if you didn't watch it, man, you're missing out. Go back. Go watch some games. Woo! VZ says, I'm going to go with 2012 because the defense was solid. D-Flow says 2019. Whew! I don't know. It would be a good game. It would be a very good game, man. It was a Golson. AGR says Golson was my favorite safety. He was such a beast, man. Such a beast. 2012 trusted their quarterback a tad more than 2019. I think that's a fair statement. They trusted whoever was going to be there. Alex Smith was the man. He was taking over and he was tearing it up. Unfortunate for him, he had the concussion, and I think that was the move, the green light that Harbaugh had to go put his guy in because he drafted Cap. Cap was his guy. Kaepernick got in there, and they never looked back, and he took off, and he ran a hot streak. He was on a heater, and, he helped them get to the Super Bowl. Alex Smith was phenomenal. He was he finally found a coach that knew how to use him and utilize him properly. I felt bad for Alex Smith, man, because he was taking off. He was looking good, and I was like, here we go, Alex Smith, baby. This is the guy. And then he got he went down, and he got hurt, and then Cap came in, but he took the league by storm. So no disrespect. Cap took over, man. Those were some fun times. Remember the Green Bay playoff game? Holy moly, he shredded them. We remember that. Vernon Davis was a vibe in the playoffs. You want to talk about a tight end that could go out there and make a difference. Vernon Davis was that guy. It took him a little bit. He had to he had to grow a set because when he first came in, he was a little soft. Mike Singletary told him, I need winners. And he changed the man's career, and he became a stud. Vernon Davis, VD, man, spreading that VD around, was a beast. Loved him, absolutely loved him. Crabtree, until it got to the Super Bowl, I wish we would have ran that ball, man. I will never forget that they didn't run the ball. He had all those opportunities. He came back because of the run game. Greg Roman sold that game, and it is what it is. And then in 2019, man, we had them on the ropes. You had Patrick Mahomes getting outplayed by Jimmy Garoppolo. Debo was cooking, and then they went away from Debo. The refs weren't calling holding on Nick Bosa. The OPI on Kittle was bogus, but we still had the lead, and then we just fell apart at the end. 10 minutes to go, and I remember that. I was just like, God, man, they had 2 picks. I mean, Niners were balling, and we left the game with the loss, and sad times, man. So definitely a sad day, but both those teams were phenomenal. I think if I had to choose on a game, 2012 versus 2019, it would be close because those two teams were great in many ways. 2019's defensive line. I mean, we talk about 2012 defensive line; it was phenomenal. But don't discredit 2019, man. Defoe, Bosa, rookie of the year. You know, some phenomenal players. Armstead, D Ford when he was healthy on that roster, it was crazy. Quan Alexander, the Hot Boys, Fred Warner. Um, it was a great team, man. Richard Sherman, hell of a team. I think it would be very close. I mean, offense, you had a rookie, Debo Samuel. You had Kittle, man, just peak Kittle. It was phenomenal. Emmanuel Sanders came in and became a weapon. It's closer than you think. Man, oh man, I think it goes to 2012, but it's razor thin. I say 2012 by a field goal. Oh God, both those teams were so much fun to watch, dude. Jimmy says, I wonder what Kyle would have done with Kaepernick. He got rid of him. That's what he did. He didn't want him back. But you know, you never know. You never know what he would have done with Kaepernick. But I think at that point, Kaepernick's career, you know, all the political, you know, issues and everything. I think, you know, with the league, and then also he was kind of going through a lot of injuries those years. You know, the shoulder and the knees, and you know, I think Kyle just wanted a clean slate. I think he wanted to get as clean slate as he can. You know, get away from the Harbaugh era. I think he wanted to keep the most minimal guys he could from that team. And that's what he did. He kind of did his own thing. He wanted to build his own team, and I respect it. He wanted to build his own legacy. You know, the only players, you know, he every year he kind of dwindled it off from the Harbaugh era. You know, so I think what do we have? Jimmie Ward, Arik Armstead, and Dante Johnson are the guys left from that era. You know, he dwindled it down, but it would be a fun game. But let's go flash forward. Those are great memories to talk about. But we do have a game on Sunday, Kansas City. It's gonna be tough. Kansas City's tough after a loss. They don't lose much. Patrick Mahomes is amazing, man, and Andy Reid's a phenomenal coach. But Andy Reid was kind of in this position too, where year after year after year, he would get so close and then he'd fall apart, and he couldn't win the big one until he finally won the big one. And now he's revered as one of the best coaches of all time. Andy Reid, you know, his career path kind of similar to Kyle, where initially early on in his career he just couldn't get over the hump. He'd get to the playoffs, he'd get to a big game, and he couldn't win it. So, you know, mirror image in a way. But eventually, Andy Reid got over the hump. He won a Super Bowl, and unfortunately, it was against the Niners. So, a lot of history here with the Niners and the Chiefs over the last, a lot of current history. You know, that Super Bowl, man, it still leaves a bitter taste in our mouths. I know I'm never going to get over that loss. That was tough. And I know a lot of people say, oh, it's a revenge week. It's a revenge game. In a way, it is. But, you know, that was a whole different team. That was a whole different season. This is a new year. You know, it's a new season. And even if the Niners beat them, it's a regular season game. It doesn't have as much value as losing a Super Bowl game. So you'll never be able to get the pure revenge unless it's in a Super Bowl game. But it would feel good to beat them. And also, I hope we don't lose, because if we lose this game, we go to 3-4. I'd much rather be 4-3 than 3-4 coming into next week. In a battle against the LA Rams. You know, you don't want to go into that game LA Rams with the 3-4 record. You want to go 4-3 so you could beat them and be 5-3 going into the bye. All right. So Chewy says, feed Ayuk. We need to feed Ayuk. Coming off a masterful game. Ayuk had his best game of the season. Only took him 6 weeks to figure out they got to use Ayuk, but that's neither here nor there. I think they have to continue to get Ayuk the ball. Niners have to find ways to score. You have to score the ball, because if you play the Chiefs, you can't leave points unanswered. You can't hang field goals and expect to beat them, because they're going to score in bunches. The Chiefs are a team that they could be down 10, they could be down 14, they could be down 17 points, and in a blink of an eye, they could come back real quick. And you'd be like, what happened to the lead? What happened to the lead? So the Niners have to be able to score. They have to run the ball, and you have to keep Patrick Mahomes on the sideline. You have to keep Patty Mahomes on the sideline. That is the key. The more he's in the game, the more chances he has to do damage to you. So anybody can be beat, CJ. That's 100%. 100%. It's any given Sunday. We talk about that every week. But at the same time, you cannot make mistakes. You have to execute well, and you have to be consistent, which is what we talked about yesterday, right? The consistency, limiting mistakes. Those are the key factors for the Niners. I think they just have to be on their P's and Q's and have to play a solid, you know, mistake-free game. The more mistakes you make, obviously, you keep anybody in the game. You keep a team like the Chiefs in the game, they're going to take advantage of your mistakes so much faster than a lot of these teams. So, Fio says, Andy Reid hit the lottery with Mahomes. Kyle has Jimmy and Trey Lance. We still don't know what he could be. Yeah, the book's still out on Trey. I'm going to pray that he gets healthy and he becomes a star because I love Trey. I think he has potential, but obviously you have to see it on the field, and he has to be able to see the field also. So, best ability is availability. And unfortunately, the broken foot is limited this year, and he hasn't been able to see the field because of that. So, it is unfortunate, but there's still a long way left for Trey Lance's career, and his story has barely just gotten started. And he's a young man. He's not even 23 years old, so he's got a long, bright future ahead of him. But he's got to hit that rehab and get stronger and get better. So, um, this is a good comment. CJ says a great quarterback changes the fortunes of a head coach. I think a head coach and a quarterback, you have to have both concepts. You have to have a good head coach to lead a quarterback and groom, and teach him and motivate him and develop him. But at the same time, if you're a great quarterback, you can help your coach along the way because you can make his offense work, you can make his concepts work, and you can cover some of their shortcomings because some coaches may have some issues in some areas. And if you're a quarterback that can do everything, just have the special talent, and teams can't stop you, then it's going to help your coach and look good. So you're right. I think it goes both ways. I think there has to be a good dynamic, good chemistry between head coach and quarterback. And that takes me back to Harbaugh days. You remember Harbaugh pumping up his quarterbacks before the game, hit them on the shoulder pads, hype them up before the game, get them ready, get them in the mindset. Let's go out there and fucking win. That was Harbaugh. Kyle Shanahan comes out and he just looks a little pissed off. Let's just get the game. I don't ever see him talk to the quarterback. But Harbaugh hit those shoulder pads. Man, I miss those days. So it has to be a good balance between a coach and a quarterback. They have to work together as a chemistry. They have to trust each other because if you don't trust your quarterback, you're not going to want him to do everything. And if you're a quarterback and you don't trust your head coach, you're going to be like, the fuck's he calling these plays for? Jimmy says, any word on Trey's progress? Can he walk it? I haven't heard anything yet. So if I hear anything, I'll definitely let you guys know. I haven't heard much about Trey. I know last week they were hoping to get him cleared. He's supposed to be back for this game. From what I heard last week, I think Lombardi reported and says they hope that he's on the sideline for this Sunday's game, but I haven't heard any definitive answer. It's a good question. I don't know yet. We'll see. I'll keep an eye on it. So. Fio's God says he just wants number 6. We all want number 6. I mean, whoever delivers a championship for this team, I guarantee whoever the court, I don't care who it is, they're going to go down in the history of a phenomenal guy, and everybody's going to love him. They're going to revere him for the history of this franchise. Like, until you die, whoever brings you that 6th trophy, you're going to love him. If it's Jimmy Garoppolo, if it's Trey Lance, it's Aaron Rodgers, I don't know, whoever it is, we're all going to love him because we want to win championships, S. Flood says the PI in the Super Bowl was a momentum killer. I don't even want to talk about. I've watched it one time I've watched that replay of that game one time, and I see random highlights posted here and there. But I sat down and watched that game a couple years, like 2 years ago. Fucking most painful experience. I was just like, all right, let's watch this game again. It was like on TV or NFL Network, and they replayed it, and I just was like. I remember seeing that play again. I'm going, how did they call OPI on kill? That was the momentum killer. You're absolutely right. It just killed us because if you score on that drive, I don't care how good the Chiefs are. There's no way they would have made it that much of a comeback. I just don't see it. That was tough, man. Chewy says Fred Warner pick 6. I hope so. I hope Fred Warner reaches deep down in his bag and gets a pick 6. He had the pick in the Super Bowl. I hope he gets another pick on Mahomes. I hope everybody dominates Mahomes. I want to see the Niners win this game. I really do. I want to see a win because I hate when the fan base – I hate it for myself too, having to cover this team and see the team lose, and it sucks, and see all the animosity and the negativity. I hate it for the players. Players work hard. They work their asses off. The whole franchise works their ass off. And for you guys, the fans, I know you guys are so upset after a loss. And it's frustrating. We don't want to lose. Obviously it's still early in the season and the season wouldn't be over. But I want to win this game, man. Honestly, it's a home game. It's the Chiefs. It's a big game. Let's get up and win a big game. Like, I don't think we've won like a massive game yet this season. Like, we've won a few games. We beat Seattle, cool, whatever. We beat the Rams, okay, that's cool. But those are 2 division games. We're gonna play them another time each. We haven't really went out and had the game yet this year. I want it to come out this Sunday. I want the team to come out this Sunday and just put the Chiefs up on a wall and pin them and shove their foot down their throat and beat their ass. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. This could be a big momentum shifter, right? Every game could be a momentum shifter, but this could be a game where the Niners go out there and they beat the Chiefs, and it instills so much confidence in them, and then they rattle out a couple of wins. It could be one of those games where it just changes the momentum of the season. It takes one game, it takes one play, it takes one moment. Look at last year, Cincinnati game. The season was crazy. It was up and down. It was a roller coaster. They got on a groove. Cincinnati was a crazy game. It was a tough game. They had been playing well, and we took them to overtime. We won a game in overtime, and it was like, wow. That moment, you just see how fast this team grew, how much confidence they got. I know they lost to Tennessee, obviously, afterwards, but you could tell, like, that type of game gave them so much motivation and confidence in a tough game, in a tough situation. When they had their backs against the wall, they knew they could win any game because they did it against LA a few weeks later. They went out, and then in the playoffs against the Green Bay Packers, like, those moments, they keep you battle tested, and we need a game like that this year. We need to beat the Chiefs. So, Chewy says 5-3 going into the bye. I hope so too. That would be so good to have a 5-3 record going into the bye. I would love to be 5-3, 100%. I'd rather be 5-3 than 4-4 or 3-5. Bottom line, we got to win these 2 games. These are big games. You want to go into the bye with the best position you can be. 5-3 would be phenomenal. We all want a storybook ending. So Fio's God says, I feel like you need an elite quarterback to win it all. Most teams do have a very elite quarterback. And nowadays, the way the NFL is built up, you have to have a true elite quarterback of quarterbacks. But history tells us there's always an outlier. There's always an anomaly. Every few years, there's a team that wins without an elite quarterback. Nick Foles, right? Sometimes it's the perfect storm. Sometimes your defense. Sometimes you just have everything else working for you, and you don't have like the guy at quarterback. Joe Flacco, although he said he was elite after he won the Super Bowl, there's been quarterbacks, that have not been elite. The Ravens won it, with, again, Joe Flacco. There's been other quarterbacks in this league that weren't elite. Those are just recent examples. And they won a Super Bowl. But I feel like you're right. For the majority of the Super Bowls, you've had an amazing quarterback, the best of the best, or one of the top quarterbacks in the league. I feel like you do have to have quarterback play because quarterback's basically the most important position in your team. That's your leader. That's your captain. That's the guy that basically runs the offense. You have to have a really good quarterback to win it all. I agree with that. But again, there are some outliers. There's a few teams that have won it historically that didn't have the most elite quarterback. But it's very far and few between. If you go through the list of all teams that won a Super Bowl and their quarterbacks, most of the time they're a pretty damn good quarterback. So, my man S. Flood says, sorry to bring back memories. Been sick all week and rewatched that game last night. Are you kidding me? This man is sick. You must have a penchant for, like, a glutton for punishment. That's the word. Because you're sick. This man is sick. And then he goes out and watches the game last night, the Super Bowl. No, you're beyond sick. You are absolutely morbid. You're crazy, Flood. I can't believe you did that. How could you watch the game, the Super Bowl loss, when you were sick? Like, I wouldn't watch it regardless. And you're sick. You just probably made yourself worse. You set yourself back an extra week from recovery. You're probably throwing up. I would never watch it when I was sick. Are you kidding me? When you're sick, you got to watch comedies. You got to watch stuff that make you feel good. Go watch The Hangover. Go watch Superbad. That's the stuff I watch when I'm sick. When I was sick, I watch funny stuff. I watch comedy. I want to laugh. I don't want to cry. Crazy, man. Time of possession is huge against Kansas City. Yeah, that's what I said at the beginning of this stream, is the Niners have to establish that run game. And talking about the run game, last week they just couldn't run the ball, right? 16 carries. 16 carries. I wasn't going to get the job done. Jeff Wilson with the fumble. I feel like you have to run the ball and start really quick. And if Jeff Wilson Jr. is not effective, go to your younger guys. You have Ty Davis Price, you drafted in the 3rd round. You have this gem sitting on your bench, Jordan Mason, who could be good. We don't even know. Use him. Tevin Coleman looked pretty good a couple weeks ago and then didn't get much carries. I got to get this team rolling. I want to see them running. I need you to get this team running, running the ball. Please, Kyle, get the butt run game going, because if you struggle off the gates, it's going to be a long game. You don't want to have Jimmy Garoppolo throwing 41 times. No disrespect to Jimmy. He played pretty well. But 41 times, man, eventually mistakes can happen when you throw that much at a high rate. So I want them to limit the passing game, run the ball, control the clock, because when you're passing, you're not controlling the clock. And you want to keep Mahomes on the sideline. You have to keep that man on the sideline. Let's say it again. Keep Mahomes on the sideline. And that is the key to beating the Chiefs. Hit him in his mouth, make him upset, get him uncomfortable, force them to turn the ball over, and then keep that man on the sideline. You don't want a dynamic offense on the field. When you're playing a team with a great offense, you don't want their offense on the field. So, Files God, this is a great point. If we go 2-and-out on the first 2 drives, it could easily be 14-0, because you're right. The Chiefs are a team that can score in bunches. Shades, be honest, have you ever really cried after a 49ers loss? I cried after that Super Bowl. I was so upset. Like, that was the worst, man. I was pissed. Shades, I was pissed when we lost to the Ravens. Like, I was angry. I remember, like, the emotions I felt after that game was anger. When I was a little kid, too, I used to be a little emotional wreck. I'm in shambles when we lose a game. And now that I run this, big sports media stuff, it gets frustrating for me. I get upset. I get mad, because you don't want to see this team lose. And I got to sit here and address thousands of people every day. Look at me. And when we lose, it's just like madness. I try to keep my emotions intact, try to be positive. But as far as like breaking down emotionally, that 2019 Super Bowl, man, I swear to God, I thought we had that game, and we just blew it. I was in shambles. I was so sad. But 2012, I was so pissed. I was married at the time. My ex-wife, she tried to. I was like, "Don't fucking look at me. Don't talk to me." I was getting people texting me. I remember I took my phone, I threw it on the floor. I left. I got in the car and I drove. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I was pissed. I didn't talk to anybody for a long time after that game. But after the 2019 Super Bowl, I just got it. I was like depressed mode. I was eating ice cream, stress eating, depressed eating, whatever you want to call it. Ugly loss. Hated it. Hope we beat the Chiefs this weekend. It was tough. Tough loss. What's up, Nick? S. Flood says Jennings has big trust on 3rd down with Jimmy has big trust with Jimmy. Jimmy has big trust with Jennings. He does. That's the 3rd down guy. Move the chains. Got to get him the ball on those crucial downs. So, yeah, that was a rough loss, that 2019 loss. God, man. 2012 was 6 blocks away from the house. I watched it with a bottle of tequila. Yeah, I don't blame you, Flood. I mean, if I would have, I probably should have just drank my feelings away. But man, I got in the car. I don't even know where I was driving. I just drove, and I don't even know where the hell I went. I was like, oh crap! Like drove for hours, and I didn't have my phone on me. So that was probably the most. That was stupid. That was very unthought out, not smart. Because if I would have got hurt or in an accident, nobody would have contacted me. I couldn't call anybody. I didn't have my phone on me, and it was a stupid move. But I just drove. Get in the car and drive. Yeah, we just got to get the ball to the playmakers' hands. Got to get the ball in the playmakers' hands. I need to see Debo run the ball more out the backfield, wide back. I want to see Ayuk take off. So, I don't know. You guys upset after that? Which Super Bowl loss upset you more? Was it the 2019 or the 2012? Like, they both sucked. Again, my feelings were anger after 2012. 2019, I was sad because I felt bad for that team. That team should have won. They were there. They were so close. 2012, we had to come back. Right? Lights went out. We came back, and I was pissed because they didn't run the ball. I was screaming, "Run the ball! Run the ball!" And they didn't run the ball. And then You faded out to Crabtree about 4 times. Hey, didn't work the first time. Didn't work the second time. I don't think it's going to work the other 2 times. That's why I was pissed. Pissed. Yeah, 2019, we had the lead, man. They both hurt, though. You're right. You're both right. You're right. 2019, but 2012, Raul says he was crying. I was heated. Heated. Maybe I had a little bit more anger issues after 2012 because I was a little younger. 2019, I'm a little older, a little bit more mellowed out. Yeah, 2019, Array says, 2019 we had the win in the bag, but we had the game in the bag. Oh my God, 49er Jeff says, don't remind me. Try not to, but it's hard not to think about it during this week because it's Chiefs week. What do you guys expect? What do you guys think about Kelsey? You think he's gonna go off against the Niners? It's gonna be tough to beat him. It's gonna be tough to match up. Kelsey always gets his numbers. Him and Mahomes have been locked in this year, and it's tough, man. If we don't have Mooney Ward out there, I don't know. It's gonna be hard to match up against him. Womack last week had to play against Pitts. That's a tough matchup. Womack's undersized compared to those bigger guys. Hopefully, Fred Warner's able to, go out there and match up against him. Dre Greenlaw as well, but it's not going to be an easy matchup. Travis Kelce he's a monster, man. He's been doing it for years. He's so consistent. He goes out there and he just puts up stats after stats after stats every year, man. It's tough to see him just dominate. I hope Jimmie Ward's able to play because I think he could really help in helping cover Travis Kelce. I think Kelce, if Jimmie Ward's not there, could have a just monster game. Jimmie Ward's good at helping cover tight ends. Slasher says it's going to be a back and forth game with Jimmy making enough plays to get the dub. That's what we hope for, baby. Let's hope so. Yeah, if Kelce goes off, yeah, we definitely can't have Kelce having a monster game. He's tough because he's such a matchup nightmare, and that's what Kittle can be. But Kittle has to go out there and block so much. He's a lineman out there, So hopefully, Kittle can be employed as a wide receiver, in those aspects, which he kind of has been getting a little bit more targets every week. But I want to see a big game from Kittle, versus Kelce. This is the matchup, the 2 tight ends that everybody talks about being the top of the class. I want to see Kittle go out there and really compete with Kelce and have a big game. It's tight end. It's National Tight Ends Day also on Sunday. By the way, you have 2 of the biggest tight ends in the league on National Tight End Day going up against each other. So that'll be fun. Oh, Fio's God, look at this. Let's get this question or this comment. He says, "I hope Jared McKinnon is playing, so we lay the boom on him." Y'all want revenge on Jared McKinnon? You guys want the revenge on Jared McKinnon? I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire is their running back that's going to get most of the carries. But if Jared McKinnon comes in, I hope they pop that, man. He was so happy to leave the Niners. Y'all remember that. But they gave him a lot of chances. They gave Jared McKinnon a lot of money, a lot of chances. And he basically says, F this team. I don't want to be with them. But I know there's a lot of political stuff in the background that goes on with these players and these teams. And sometimes they don't let them get the stats they want because of their incentives and stuff. And I feel like that was part of it because I've heard here and there from the background noise from people I know. But at the same time, he threw the team under the bus. And he was like, I don't want to go back to this team. Are you kidding me? And now he's on the enemy. He went to the Chiefs. Of all teams, he signed with the Chiefs. I do want to see Jared McKinnon get trucked if he's out there. But I also want to see Mooney Ward go take care of business against his old team. Mooney Ward revenge game. I now want to see Mooney Ward be healthy. I hope he's able to play this weekend. And if Mooney Ward's out there, revenge game for Mooney Ward, baby. So, yeah, he definitely blew his chance. Greenlaw hitting him over the middle. Yeah, he was talking trash on us, man. Tired legs, man. The tired leg. Kyle Shanahan said he got tired legs. Remember that? He ran for like 70 yards. He was having a comeback season. He was looking good. And then the next week, Kyle said, his legs are tired. Y'all want revenge on him. Y'all are funny. Funny people. This is a good question. S. Flood says, any particular reason the struggles with Womack? I don't think he was really struggling. He had to go up against Kyle Pitts. It's just a matchup nightmare. That was a tough matchup for him. They exposed shorter corners against taller receivers. And again, they didn't have much secondary. They didn't have Charvarius Ward in the secondary, so I think Womack just was thrown in the mix. He'd been playing a lot of slot primarily, and then he had to get kind of mixed around in this game. And then you got to remember, defensive line wasn't healthy, so they weren't getting a good push up front. And I think that the Falcons just figured out how to scheme against us. They ran the ball effectively. When they threw, they were getting yards, whatever they wanted. So I don't think Womack, his game last week is anything to be concerned about. Obviously, the secondary didn't play as good as we'd hope. But I think they'll make adjustments. D'Amico will make adjustments. That's what I have faith in. I have faith in D'Amico Ryans. He's a great coach, and I think he'll make the adjustments. So I wasn't too worried. I mean, Kyle Pitts is like 6'6". Sam Womack's like 5'10". I mean, that's just to me, it's just a matchup. You expose the matchup. Like, obviously, I'm going to take advantage of that. If I'm a coach and I see my tight end who's like a wide receiver, and he's so tall, he's got like 7 inches on the cornerback that's covering him. Naturally, I'm going to throw that guy on him. So I don't think there's too much to worry about right there. Chris Hernandez, KC has no defense. Well, we got no offense. Well, somebody's going to have to do a better job. That's the one thing I think that is, nice about this game. Kansas City, their defense is kind of, it's mediocre, but we have a mediocre offense. So it's a mediocre offense versus a mediocre defense. But then we have a good defense, and they have a good offense. So we'll see what's going to end up to, who plays better there. I think we definitely have a chance to compete and win this game. It's definitely not going to be easy. But, hey, we don't have a good offense. Maybe a medicine for us is playing the Chiefs. And they're they let up yards. They let up passes. Their cornerbacks are just not good. I bet you they are crying in their grave. I bet you they're crying in their sleeps that they don't have Charvarius Ward. Charvarius Ward is a big loss for those guys. A huge loss. Yeah, you're right, Flood, that their Kansas City cornerbacks aren't really anything special. We could have a big game from Ayuk, and I want a big game from Ayuk. Ayuk needs to build off that last game. He just had a phenomenal game in Sunday's loss against Atlanta. And I need to see Brandon Ayuk continue to dominate. But you know what else I need to see? I need to see Deebo Samuel cook him off the edges. Jet sweep. The Super Bowl game that the Niners played against the Chiefs, Deebo was all over the place, catching the ball, running the ball, and that was the Deebo we saw last year. We saw Deebo being the most dynamic weapon in the NFL. We need to see that Deebo on Sunday. We don't need to just sit there and force it to him just because he's there and make him dance around and juke 9 defenders on a play. Like, it's cool to see. Like, it was I saw those plays, like the highlights. I'm like, damn, Deebo's dancing. He was just putting guys on skates, little screen pass, and then you had one defender miss. He danced for like 20 yards to get 2 yards. I don't want to see that. Use him, put the ball in Deebo's hand in open space, and let him create. Don't throw it to him in a cloud of defenders. So we got to run the ball, man. We got to run the ball. We don't have offense. We do. We just can't catch the damn ball. That's true too, Tej. I feel like that's part of it, though. You got to catch the ball, right? You got to catch the ball to have an offense. That was tough last week. Those drops were killer. Drops were killer. Maybe blame the defense for not stopping Mariota. I'm so past that Atlanta game, but if we're going to bring up that game, I'm not even going to be mad at the defense. They only let up 21 points. Like, yeah, they ran the ball all over us. That's because they didn't have Armstead. That's because they didn't have, Bosa in the middle. So they ran, and when Mariota wanted to throw, he could. And then he ran the ball because we always struggle against a running quarterback. But if you really think about it, Atlanta scores 24 points a game. We only let up 21 points. They scored 14 points, man. 14 points. I don't care who you play against. You're not going to beat a team scoring 14 points. Obviously, those drops were huge, critical. And the fumble was just a backbreaker, momentum killer. They got to play smart. They got to play mistake-free football. And they got to execute. So, yeah, Warner should have caught that ball. You don't get many chances if you're Charlie Warner. You got to take advantage of the ops. Ray McLeod, got to take advantage of the ops. You know, it's tough. Jake Brendel, obviously, big holding call. Negated a big play by Brandon Ayuk. 8-minute drive, get 0 points. So there were some mistakes, you know, and you can't make mistakes against Kansas City because they take advantage of those mistakes really quick. So going to be a tough game. I think it's going to be a fun game, though, because I think, again, there's going to be a lot of vibes there. There's going to be a lot of older players. It's Alumni Week. I think the jerseys are going to bring out the hype for this team, and I think that this team does have a chance to go out and win. It's a home game. The Niners have been playing really well at home. The faithful, you know, we bring the heat. The Niner fans are going to be loud. I know they are. They're going to be proud. Y'all are going to be supporting and yelling and screaming. And, again, just have to execute and play the best that we can. It's not to say that Kansas City's unbeatable. They've been beaten many times over the last couple of years since they won a Super Bowl. But the problem is they play tough after a loss, and we're catching them after a loss. So, you know, and so do the Niners, though. The Niners play pretty tough after a loss, and they're playing at home. So I don't think it's going to be an easy game for anybody. This is going to be a battle. I think it's a war. You know, they got some history, right? Recent history. And the Niners, man, they got sour taste in their mouth from the last time we played in the Super Bowl. So I think it's going to be a good game. I think the Niners have a chance to win on Sunday, though. So my man, hey, Peter Parker's going to rock his red and white. Patrick Willis, number 52. I should wear it. Yeah, we definitely got to wear a throwback jersey on Sunday. Maybe support some of them old players. Or I don't know. Maybe I'll wear my throwback Fred Warner. We'll see. Not decided who I'm going to wear yet. We'll see. Maybe we will wear Patrick Willis. Maybe we'll get Patrick Willis jersey on Sunday. We'll see. Be fun to wear. Throwback jerseys. Throw on a Justin Smith jersey for old time's sake. We'll see. It's going to be a fun one. Yeah, let's get a couple more questions before we end the stream today. Appreciate you guys. Hit the like button. My man Chris says, if we lose, are you going to panic yet? No, not yet. It's still early to panic. If we lose, we're 3-4, then we got a big game against LA, and we could bounce back, win that game, and still be number one in the NFC West and go into the bye 4-4. So we're still not panicking yet. Not yet. No soft spot. Says, what's the latest on Christian McCaffrey trade? Just rumors. Niners are still apparently in the mix, but I haven't heard much else other than just the rumors that have been out there, but nothing new. Nothing new. Yep. S-Flex is like Travis Ward said, no red and yellow in the stands. Show up and be loud and faithful. That's right. Slasher, was Willis better than Warner? 100%. I love Fred Warner, but Patrick Willis was better. Flat out monster. No disrespect to Warner. Warner's good. Patrick Willis is better. That's the easy answer. No hesitation. No hezzy. No hezzy. I don't know. What do you guys think? You think Fred Warner is better than Patrick Willis, or is Patrick Willis better? Am I wrong? I think Fred Warner is not as good as Patrick Willis. Fred Warner's great, though. One of the best linebackers I've seen. Amazing. Steady. I'm late, but what's Verrett's status? Verrett, he practiced today, full practice. They're going to see how he goes this week in practice. Again, last week they opened up the window. They let him go. They practiced. But he had soreness. So because of that soreness, they had to kind of limit him and not have him play in the game. So we're back to square one. Jason Verrett is practicing full go, but they will keep a close eye on the knee and see how it goes for the next 3 days. And if he doesn't have any pain or swelling, maybe he can play on Sunday. So that's kind of where we're at with Jason Verrett. Oh, no soft spot. Says Warner isn't even as good as Bowman. Yeah, I agree. I think you're right. I think Bowman and Willis better than Warner. No disrespect to Fred Warner. Phenomenal player. Willis says Fred is a bit better in coverage. Fred Warner is a good coverage linebacker. I'll give him that. Definitely has good coverage skills. He locks down linebackers or tight ends at the linebacker position. But Patrick Willis underrated. I think you guys underrated his coverage skills. He was Monster, though. Sideline. Aggressiveness. He was a monster. '49er Jeff, good question. If you answer this, will Trent and Bosa be playing? So they both practiced today in limited fashion. Kyle Shanahan this week has stated a couple times that there's a good chance that they'll play, but we'll see how they get through practice this week. Trent Williams practiced for the first time since he sprained the ankle a couple weeks ago. Nick Bosa practiced for the first time on Friday, and then he practiced today, so he was limited. So we just have to kind of see how the rest of the week goes. Like I said, Kyle Shanahan said there's a good chance, but there's no definitive word. It really just at this point with these injuries, these soft tissue injuries and stuff like that, it really depends on how these guys feel, by the time Friday comes through practice, how are they going to really feel? So, and it's kind of a decision you have to make. Is it safe enough? Are they going to risk them to get further injuries? So it's kind of a judgment call. But right now, there's no official word on if they're going to play. But they did practice today, so that's a good sign. See, we'll do about 2 more questions and we'll wrap it up. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Wednesday practice is back. Niners Chiefs on Sunday. I'm excited. I hope the Niners win this game. We can't afford another loss. We can't afford a loss to Kansas City. I think everybody would be pissed, down bad. 49ers Twitter will be nuclear. I don't need to see all that. I need to see a win. Hit the like button, baby, says Slasher Game. That's right. Hit that like button, baby. Oh, man. What do we do if we lose this game? Are y'all panicking? You asked me. I'm going to ask you guys. Do we panic? Are you guys going to panic if the Niners lose to the Chiefs? Are you panicking? Be honest with me. I don't care if you panic. It's not my day. Not my decision. I already told you what I'm going to do. I'm not going to panic. 49er Jeff says he is. He's panicking. It's honest. It's the honest truth. 100%. I love it. Be honest. You gotta be honest with yourself. You might panic. Again, I'm not gonna panic because it's still early, but I'll be close. Like, here's the panic button. I'm gonna be hovering. I won't hit it yet. NFC's weak right now. Yeah. No panic, says the Slasher Gamer. Peter Parker says no panic because guys are coming back soon. No, NFC is weak right now, says 49ers. Team Cali, appreciate you. First time on the show, subbed as well. Appreciate you, my man. Do you know if Huff is playing or not? We don't know yet. He's in the concussion protocol. He did not practice yet today or this week. Today's the first day back practice. But he is still currently in the concussion protocol, so we'll have to monitor what happens the next 2 days. The concussion protocol is very specific. Obviously, I don't know if it even works because they let him play through a concussion on Monday or on Sunday. But, yeah, Hufunga's in the concussion protocol still, and he did not practice. So we'll see. He has to be able to pass the concussion protocol in order to play on Sunday. So Slasher says the 49ers caught fire late last year, hoping for the same. I hope so. But you can't always hope that we're just going to catch fire. Like you could sit there and say, yeah, they're going to be 3-5, no problem. They did it last year. Like, you can bank on that. You can hope for it, but it's easier said than done. Like, last year was tough, man. I can't believe they went from 3-5 to the NFC Championship. Like, that was a phenomenal season. That is crazy how that happened, right? Like, if they're 3-5 again, hypothetical, I hope it doesn't happen. If they're 3-5 again, like, it's not going to be easy to repeat itself. It really isn't. It's tough on the mental, not just on going out there and perform, but mentally that is tough. I'm not saying it can't happen, but it's tough. Yeah, 49er Jeff, I agree, man. Like, there's just no rhythm out there. That's what I've been saying all week. Like, it just seems like they just can never get in a groove. Like, you felt like they were about to. Like, every week, it's like, okay, here we go. We got the rhythm. And then it just, like, falls apart. Like, I thought at Atlanta, as soon as those 2 drives came, and Brandon Ayuk, they was cooking. I was like, all right, we found our mojo. Let's go. And they didn't score any points in the second half. And that's what happened. Second half, they can't get into a rhythm. They don't adjust. They've scored 6 points in their losses in the second half. They've scored 11.3 points total a game in their 3 losses. That's not good. So you're right. Absolutely 100%, Jeff. They're not getting in a rhythm. And that is a tough tough thing to do if you're trying to win games, is trying to establish a rhythm. If you're in the fourth quarter and you still haven't established a rhythm, that's not a good sign. So, Danny Gray practiced. Yeah, he was there. He practiced. I don't know if he's going to play, though. Danny Gray, man, they got to use this guy. He drafted him. Third-round pick. Third-round pick. Let him see the game. Like, this is all I'm going to say before I leave. If Kansas City had a guy like Danny Gray, 4.2 speed, bro, Danny Gray, if Kansas City had a guy like that, they'd use him so much. He'd be a fucking weapon. Weapon! Put him in the game. See, Myth, this is exactly what I'm talking about. You hit it on the head. Just because we got to the championship on a miracle run, that'll happen again. That's exactly like what my thinking is yes, I know we did it last year. We started 3-5 and we made this magical run. Like, it was amazing. It was freaking crazy. Y'all were there. We remember it. We went to games and it was fun. It was amazing. But you can't expect this team to do it every year, man. That's lightning in a bottle to me. To go 3-5 to the NFC Championship, that's lightning in a fucking bottle to me. That is crazy. Like, it just doesn't happen every year. You don't see that because if it's that easy to go from 3-5, 2-4, whatever the case is, to the NFC Championship, teams would do it every year. Like, it just doesn't, like, that was a magical run. The fact that we made it to the NFC Championship last year was mind-blowing from how we started. It was absolutely mind-blowing. So 100% Myth. Like, you can't expect it to just happen because, I think fans are like, they're 3-5. It's okay. It's fine. Well, they did it no, they have to win these games. Let's fucking win some. Excuse my language. Let's win some games because you don't want to dig yourself into a hole because eventually you get dug deep far enough, you may not be able to climb out that hole. So, good point. Good topic. I like it. A good comment. So, good topic. Yeah, I noticed Jimmy the G throwing the deep ball more. Shoulder must be feeling better. He is throwing deep. Ryan McDonald says Vicious live with Tart right now. Let's go, baby. That's dope. That's what we like to see. Shout out to my man Vish. I think this is the comment of the day to end it on. He gets 49er Jeff says it was a stressful offseason, and now it's a stressful season. That's the Niner way. That's literally the Niner way. Every single year that I can remember now, it's been a stressful offseason, a very stressful offseason. And then the season comes and you're absolutely stressed. You get gray hairs, you lose sleep, you get headaches, you get migraines. 49 Jeff, I couldn't have said it any better. It's a stressful offseason and a stressful season, man. Oh, man. That you can't even say it any better like that. You really can't. That is exactly how it feels. It was such a stressful offseason. And you thought it was going to be a nice season. Okay, everybody's so optimistic. And now we're like, oh, crap. I mean, obviously, it's still early. We're 3-3. We're still in a good spot. They got to win this game on Sunday. So, a hot take. We're winning this game on Sunday. That's the hottest take I'm going to give you right now. Niners win this game. I feel confident. I feel like that's the hottest take you can get right now. Niners are going to win this game. They have to. Home game in front of legends. It's Alumni weekend. Bryant Young ceremony. You can't go out there and lose this game. Niners win this game. Let's go, baby. Appreciate you. Where's the merch dropping? I got merch on my team store on Instagram. We get more out going. But that's it for today. I appreciate you guys. Hit the like button. Hope you guys have a good day. Have a good night. I'll try to come on Instagram a little later when I get some time. I need to eat some food. I'm hungry. Appreciate y'all. Bang, bang. Not again.